In this video from Demystifying Proposals, we're going to talk about how to write resumes for proposals. Best practices to ensure your resumes are compliant and compelling. Most companies have a repository of resumes to use for proposals. That's a good place to start to find staff who will meet the statement of work or performance work statement requirements. And most companies assign a junior person to work on the resumes for proposals. Sometimes it's a proposal coordinator, but you need to ensure that that person understands the technical and management requirements of the proposal in order to be able to tailor the resumes well. Good proposal resumes are both an art and a science. When it comes to compliance for resumes, you want to look at sections C and H as well as sections L and M to see what the requirements are for key personnel. If there are discrepancies among these sections, be sure to ask a question during the Q&A period of the proposal development process, and hopefully you'll get some clarification when the Q&A comes out from the government in response to those discrepancies. In order to ensure that the key personnel being bid meet the requirements for each key personnel and make it easy for the evaluators to see that, what we usually do is under the summary of experience, we put in a row with two columns. The first column are the RFP requirements for the position, maybe a row for each RFP requirement. And then in the second column, you put a brief summary of how that person's experience meets or exceeds those requirements. So for example, you could say Ms. Smith has 10 years of program management experience, and you could mark that with exceeds if the requirement was, say, 3 to 5 years. You want to have as many exceeds as you can possibly get without pushing the envelope too much. Meets is fine. You just want to have some exceeds in there as well. And then be sure to include all of the requirements for each position, as well as a strong summary of how that person's experience meets or exceeds each requirement. So as I said, in column 1, you would maybe have several rows with each of the RFP requirements, and in column 2, the summary of how that person meets that experience. That's how you show that there's compliance between the people you're bidding and the people, the requirements for the positions. When it comes to making the resumes compelling, you need to tailor the resume, the whole resume, to show how the person being bid meets the requirements for the position. So in addition to showing that the person being bid meets or exceeds the key personnel requirements, you need to make sure that you map the resume to the statement of work or the performance work statement to show how the person has done work similar to the work being proposed. Use the RFP's language to describe the key person's work where analogous. Put in parentheses a reference to the statement of work tasks. So for example, if a particular part of the person's resume maps to a particular statement of work area, then you put in parentheses statement of work 2.2, for example. If you can't cover all the SOW requirements in a particular resume, cover as many as you can, and then be sure that all of the resumes cover all of the statement of work requirements somewhere. So when it comes to resumes, often there's a page limit, and sometimes that's only 2 or 3 pages per resume. Given everything that has to be included and everything you want to include to make the resumes compelling, getting each resume down to the page limit is often very hard. So sometimes we put resumes in a table, which can often be in a smaller font. Maybe only parts of the resume would be in a smaller font, but that's one way to kind of make it so that you're not using up as much space as you might otherwise. And then another thing to consider is whether you've already spelled out acronyms in the previous proposal sections. If your resumes are an addendum to the proposal itself or part of your management section, maybe you don't have to spell out all of the resumes. If, however, your resumes are their own volume, then you will have to spell them out. We hope this short video provides some clarity around how to prepare resumes for proposals. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and click on the bell to follow us so that you get notified when new videos come out.